the election season and the political war of words are going to peak across party lines, and it's expected. After all, it's the votes at stake. Very crucial votes. But there's one thing that's not expected. In fact, let me correct myself. Seeing the track record of our politicians, it is very much expected. But high time a clear message goes out that misogyny, targeting and using women as clickbaits for political rhetoric is not going to be accepted. And this is not for any one political party. This misogyny, crass remarks against women, in most cases completely unrelated to their political agenda, is seen across party lines, across the stature of leaders. Let's start with Rahul Gandhi, only because that's the latest. Why repeatedly bring up Aishwarya Rai Bachchan when you're targeting the Modi government? Make references to her dancing or media preferring to show her dance compared to Rahul Gandhi's or opposition's speech. And I'm not even hiding the context here, frankly. I don't need to hide the context. But just look at this, and it's not one-off. 3 references in a matter of just few days back to back, naming Aishwarya Rai Bachchan. She doesn't have active political leanings, at least in public forum. She was not present at the Ram temple. Why drag her into political discourses? But then, these are remarks that I can at least quote verbatim. Some other political leaders, the crass, derogatory, and absolutely obnoxious statements can't even be reproduced across the political spectrum. And I'm repeating this again and again. Look at this. AIADMK leader AV Raju's statement on actress Trisha, where he alleged money was paid to her to go along with a politician to a resort. Now look at this. If there was political scores to settle, please name the politician and don't randomly name women or actresses. But it's the reverse here. Is there some political brotherhood happening? Of course, AV Raju later apologizes, but what's the point? It's with the rider. I was misunderstood. Now, these are not one-off instances. Nitish Kumar is now a NDA chief minister. Earlier, while he was with the RJD in Bihar speaking in the assembly, many of you would remember his ejaculate out comment on women and population control amid laughter and sneering from other men in the assembly. Parties change, people don't. Character doesn't change with change in party. Well, it's not just men. BJP's Renukacharya said this. And we'll come to the other aspects as well, but BJP's Renukacharya said this in 2022. Rapes are increasing because of women's clothes. Choices of women provoke men. These are statements by elected representatives. You have been voted to power. This may be your thinking, but while even settling political scores with opponents, don't abuse womanhood and give undue agency and impunity to the men. We will come to the aspect of how even women drag other women. But for now, let's just look at the obnoxious patriarchy with men alone. Congress's Ajay Rai in 2022, while speaking about Smriti Irani, said, "Latke jhatke dekar chali jati hai." The audacity to speak this about a woman who defeated their star by over 50,000 votes. Kailash Vijayvargiya just last year said when women wear bad clothes and come out, they can't be seen as goddesses, they resemble demons. And Ravana's sister. Kailash Vargiya is the BJP National General Secretary and was speaking at a Jain community function. Any particular correlation here that you can find? I couldn't. In 2019, he spoke about Priyanka Gandhi fielding, quote-unquote, chocolatey faces. Remember RJD leader Abdul Bari Siddiqui speaking of those with lipsticks and bob-cut hairstyles coming forward with the reservation bill, comment made in September last year. The context was one of the most powerful legislations being passed or that one would choose to be on the wrong side of such a historic moment, objectifying women. Who can forget Mulayam Singh Yadav's ladke ladke hote hain, galti ho jati hai, while opposing capital punishment for rape in April 2014. Again, my team and I have picked very few examples from across the political spectrum, and we strongly believe change has come. This is not going to be tolerated as a political narrative, rhetoric anymore. I'm being right now joined by Dr. Sudha R. Halkai, who's a spokesperson for BJP, Gargi Nandi Roy, actress and political analyst, Saira Shah Halim, author and activist, Roshni Kushal Jaiswal, political analyst. Thank you very much, all four of you, for joining us. First question that I really want to ask, why don't you just all speak of the stands that you have to say? Since I started this with what happened over the last 2 days, particularly with the Congress as well as the AIA-DMK, and as I said, the rot is across the political spectrum. Roshni Kushal Jaiswal, how do you look at this?
Look, the politics is all about blaming each and everyone. And it is happening since decades. It is not the first time that it is happening. And it is not good to blame anyone or target anyone. But the speeches which Modi ji as a prime minister has given, that Congress ki vidhwa, 50 lakh ki girlfriend, Jersey guy. We can't forget these sentences from Modi ji. He's a prime minister of our
Certainly, now that you've
country.
brought it up, let me tell you, these things happened. Absolutely, these were
Yes.
before 2014. The only reason we did not go beyond that, because then there's no end. However, since you bring that up, let me just tell you, there is no impunity to any leader. You are bringing in
But
Prime
these
Minister Modi. I will
sentences are
ask the
worse.
BJP about this.
No
But
sentence.
would you? No. How do you say what is worse? Objectifying? Don't you see objectifying women, lower category, higher category, is objectifying women? Ma'am, is this how you're going to, is this your stand? I mean, I don't want to question you on this. Is this how you look at it?
No one can target any woman, but the sentences used by our prime minister, Congress ki vidwa and Jersey guy and 50 lakh ki girlfriend, we can't forget over the decades. So targeting a woman is a shame for everyone. वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट की जहां बातें होती हैं, बेटी बचाओ बेटी पढ़ाओ की जहां बातें होती हैं, वहां भारतीय जनता पार्टी के ही नेता हो, चाहे विधायक हो, चिन्मयानंद की बात कर लीजिए, आप नित्यानंद की बात कर लीजिए, ये सारे बीजेपी के लीडर्स हैं जिन्होंने भारतीय जनता पार्टी के ओहदे पे होते हुए बलात्कार किए हैं. तो वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट को भारतीय जनता पार्टी कभी भी बढ़ावा दे ही नहीं सकती.
Let me come here and ask my question again to you. And I get what you're trying to say here. Of course, it's political scores here. But I'm again reiterating, Aishwarya Rai Bachchan, what connection does she have to any of the political narratives that need to be called out, slammed, opposed, countered? वो तो काम कर रही है. She's not professional. Why bring her in?
एक कहावत है ना कि कहने के चलन में वो बातें हो जाती हैं. ऐश्वर्या राय जी का वहां पे कोई रोल नहीं था. आई एग्री विथ यू, बट इट्स जस्ट एग्जाम्पल के तौर पे उन्होंने वो बोल दिया.
Why? Because she's doing her work. वो अपना काम कर रही है. Because she's a working professional.
She is an artist. She dances.
इसमें क्या कर रहे हैं? Okay, I understand. बहुत लोग डांस करते हैं. बहुत लोग डांस करते हैं. बाकियों के भी नाम लीजिए. ये ऐश्वर्या राय बच्चन को बार-बार क्यों? Anyways, हाँ बताइए. You want to say something to that?
ये उनकी तारीफ भी हो सकती है. आप दो पहलू होते हैं सिक्के के. आप उनको पॉजिटिव ले रहे हैं कि आप नेगेटिव ले रहे हैं?
That's quite a stretch. That's quite a stretch, Roshni Kushal. But let me just get on to, I don't want to get into this tutu maybe, because this is a very big stretch. I am sure if you look at that speech, I mean, can we just play that speech of Rahul Gandhi, please? One of the speeches, there were 3, 4. Why don't we just play that one speech?
Why are you not playing the speech of Modi ji? कांग्रेस की विधवा 50 लाख की
Okay, all right.
गर्लफ्रेंड.
We'll just come to this while my team is getting both the speeches out. We'll just come to that in a bit. But why don't I just go back to
Just play
Sudha
both
Ar
the
Halkai?
speeches. We will
How do
compare,
you?
right?
I will, Roshni. There is no
Okay,
comparison.
okay, okay. I'm
Misogyny
waiting.
is
I'm waiting.
misogyny, targeting women is targeting women. My stand is
Yes,
absolutely clear on this.
yes.
There is no comparisons. Nobody is better or low or whatever. But let me just come across to Dr. Sudha Ar Halkai at this point. You know, we've made a series of quotes, not obnoxious comments from BJP as well, including Prime Minister Modi, as Roshni was mentioning, and of course everybody remembers those speeches as well. I just want to understand, as a woman leader, have there been any conversations in the party that such dragging of women in such political rhetorics where it's not allowed is not acceptable? Gargi, I know you're raising your hands, but please allow me to go to Dr. Sudha Ar Halkai first.
Sneha, being a woman, Bharatiya Nari, I wholeheartedly respect every Indian woman who is struggling day and night to reach to their professional level in par with the men. First thing. Second thing, it is utter shame on Rahul Gandhi to talk about Aishwarya Rai Bachchan, who is a woman of integrity, who is a woman of substance, who has represented India in the national platform, and she has won Padma Shri award by the government of India, and irrelevantly, insensitively, irrationally taking her name again and again, Rahul Gandhi is showing that there is no connectivity for him, for his brain, and to his tongue. Rahul Gandhi is known for his irrelevant statements all these years. It's been 20 years of his life into political party, and nowhere he is known for any developmental or progressive statements where he is given in India or abroad. Why Aishwarya Rai's Bachchan name was
Dr. Sudha,
taken? She's a woman who has proved her potential again and again. Yeah. Yes, Sneha, tell me.
Let me come in again, just the way I came in with Miss Roshni. Let me come in again. And I'm genuinely trying to have a discourse here. And the reason why
Sneha,
I have got
got your
4
point. I
women
got your
panelists
point.
here is to
Sneha,
be able...
I got your point.
No, hold on, please hold on. Let me finish. No. I allowed you to speak, even though that was not the answer to my question, and I allowed you to speak. Let me urge my women panelists here. Of course, you all are here in whatever political capacities you are, and with whatever political leanings you have, but you all are women leaders. People are looking up to you. When I'm asking you particularly about a party, and I will ask you about others as well, but I'm coming to you first because you represent a particular party. Dr. Sudha Ar Halkai, I specifically mentioned, and if I can get those quotes of the BJP leaders as well of what they have spoken, obnoxious statements as well, ma'am.
Sneha, I am against any man who speaks irrelevantly about any woman in our country. They don't have any rights to speak about women on any platform. I, being a woman, I know what pain it takes for a woman to give herself to the society, taking care of a family. So no man on earth has any rights to speak about a woman. I strongly condemn, irrespective of any party, irrespective of any cadre they are, no one should be allowed to speak, and any statement of theirs against women is highly condemnable by me, Dr. Sudha Ar Halkai.
Okay, because I went to Dr. Roshni, because I went back to Roshni for another question, I'll go back to you as well, Dr. Sudha. Has there been ever a discourse within the party? Have leaders come together and said, what you did was wrong? We cannot have this kind of a narrative again. We cannot have this kind of a counter. Could you give us an example of when it last happened in the party?
When I'll tell you way back when Indira Gandhi was a prime minister, and there was opposition people had written a letter to her stating that Indira jawab do.
Ma'am, recent.
Recent till date, all the party members in our party have high regards for the women in our this one, and they've given the highest portfolios, and any statement given by any politician, take it from BJP, and all the leaders have opposed that. There's no question about it. We have high regards for the women.
Okay. All right.
And any statement given by any political, by our
how do you look at this? Gargi Nandi Roy, you are an actress as well. You're a political analyst as well. How do you look at what's panning out? We are in the election season, and isn't there a requirement across the political lines for a very, very strong messaging that this is not going to be tolerated, irrespective of what party you are? You could be Congress, you could be BJP, you could be the Prime Minister, you could be the former Prime Minister, you could be whatsoever. This is not expected.
Yes, thank you, Shreya, for inviting. I know, yes, it is very unfortunate that across party lines we have seen male politicians having this kind of mindsets and making misogynistic, patriarchal and sexist comment, and it should be condemned. I will say that irrespective of party lines, whoever says it should be condemned. Now, coming to Rahul Gandhi and the specific thing, I think, Rahul Gandhi has hit a new low now in this Nyaya Yatra. I think he's just venting out his frustrations. So because, he's feeling that his allies are going away from him, nobody is coming from the Nyaya Yatra, the people are leaving the Nyaya Yatra. So out of frustration, he started threatening journalists, calling the Varanasi youths drunkards, and now Aishwarya Rai. And even Aishwarya Rai is mentioning in Ram Mandir consecration where she was not there. And this term, Nachne Wali, it's very unfortunate that this has been used as a very derogatory word to demean women, and it is not first time. So many times it has been used. If you remember Sanjay Nirupam, what he called Smriti Irani. So it is very unfortunate that they have done this. They use word nachne wali. It's so easy to malign and do the character assassination of a woman because of what she's wearing, the clothing, and whoever, even if it is a Kailash Vijayvargiya and whoever talking about a woman's clothes, that instead of the man, you are doing character assassination of the woman. It is bad. Whoever does it, irrespective of party lines. And I feel, Shreya, in our country, we have laws. We have laws that if a person makes a comment against a race, against a religion, it is considered as a hate speech and it is punishable. So why not bring a law that if you make a comment which is misogynist, which is insulting a woman, and that is the gender which is 50% of our population, so there should be a law to penalize those men also. And again I reiterate, it should be irrespective of party lines. No, if you are insulting a woman, if you are objectifying or commodifying a woman in your speech, you should be punished like you are if you are talking against a religion. Why not against a gender? So that I honestly feel. Yes, Sri.
All right, Saira, how do you want to
Hello?
how do you want to react to this in your opening comment? It's difficult to see this as a woman journalist year on year on year, and I'm very, very sure it's not about a woman journalist. It's also about the voters. But again, in the assembly, you had men laughing along as Nitish Kumar spoke. There would be voters who would laugh to comments such as this as well. The point is not that. The point is elected representatives can't shoot from their mouth, irrespective of how obnoxious their own thinking is. They have to be held accountable.
I agree. So, we're not going to attack any political party right now because this is a topic for women's issues. Now, I like to say, cut across party lines, cut across political lines. Members of political parties, politicians, and a panelist was quoting the Prime Minister, almost most politicians have made really deplorable, misogynistic statements to demean women. Whether you're using an example, whether you're using it as an analogy, whether you made a metaphorical statement, it is abysmal. If you're using, terms like nachne gaane wali and, things like that, which really actually, trivializes, the work that women have done so far down the generations, down the years. And I think it really trivializes the conversation about women. Now, whenever any politician is asked to comment on the plight or the rights of women, you've seen that there's always a sexist or misogynistic mark when they're unable to resolve the crisis. Because this is again to deflect attention from the issue. For example, rape. Oh, it must be her fault. Oh, her dress was like this. Or, she called for it. She invited it. So these are some of the very, very absolutely appalling statements that you come across in the political lines. And again, I'm saying here, politicians with their very regressive mindset imagine women to be confined to the four walls of a home, look after the kids, wear traditional dresses, cover their heads from head to toe, and ditch anything that can be remotely associated with the Western world. That is how they expect women to be. How many women politicians do we see out wearing a normal attire, what probably any urban girl will wear, like a jeans and a kurta? She'll be trolled and she'd be called out. So women have to appear proper, wearing a sari. So there's immense pressure. Look at any political campaign. When you want to weaponize, a vindictive action, or you want to bring a woman down, the first thing that they comment is her dress
Right.
sense, her hairstyle. I mean, look at some
Okay.
of the comments, like one RJD leader had said women with lipsticks and bob cut. This is like a few years ago. Then another BJP leader had said children.
No,
He
no, it was
commented
not
about
few years
children. The
ago. This
children
was
should be
just
fully
last year.
clothed.
It was just last year,
Yes,
ma'am, September, when the
exactly. Yes,
reservations bill was in
yes.
the parliament.
Then a
Women's
Congress leader
reservation bill.
had also said latke jhatke dekar chali jati hai. So latke jhatke, there are these barbs, these insinuations, and very very it's akin to a cat call. So I think it's time we really need to set out a very example that cut across political parties, cut across any political ideology. These comments and misogyny needs to stop. In election campaigning, why do we need to discuss a woman's bags and shoes? She could have earned it herself. Why do we need to make it like like as if, a big political issue? Talk about policy, right? Talk about things that matter. I mean, what difference does it make if a woman has bought a bag with her own money, or, wearing an expensive perfume or wearing shoes? I think we really need to evolve now. Indian society, at large, need to look at women
Right.
public figures in a more responsible, respectful manner rather than demeaning her. That is my take on this whole issue right now.
Sure. Now, allow me one question, and I'll come to all of you, say, for 40 seconds, and I'll have to cut you at that point because this is a common question. I'm not going to be asking different questions to all four of you. It's going to be a common question. Where, to those who are directly representing a party, please feel free to answer in that capacity. Those of you who are pro a certain party or know the workings of a certain party, please feel free to respond in that capacity. When did you last hear of the women's wing of any party, the head, the leadership of any of the women's wing of a political party, go to the political leaders, to the men and the women, and say, this needs to stop? Why don't you start, Roshni?
Look, women's are the
40 seconds.
Only 40 seconds? Yeah, okay.
Yes,
Women
because this
should
is a common
support
question,
women.
I'm going to everybody for 40 seconds.
Yeah, women should support women, but the thing is that हमारे भारत में महिलाएं ही महिलाओं को सपोर्ट नहीं करती हैं। जब उन्हें सपोर्ट की सबसे ज्यादा जरूरत होती है तो महिलाएं कहीं ना कहीं पीछे हो जाती हैं। तो महिलाएं जब महिलाओं के सपोर्ट के लिए आगे आएंगी तो हमारा देश कहीं और होगा। अगर हम बात करें उत्तर प्रदेश की हाथरस घटना पे,
that's why I'm asking you, when did you last see the women's wing of a political party go to the political leaders, men
Yes.
and women, and say,
Congress,
ye nahi chalega, this will not go? When
Yes.
was the last time? When was the last time?
Today was the last time when कांग्रेस की अलका लांबा जी जो हैं, जो महिला कांग्रेस अध्यक्ष हैं, वो महिलाओं के लिए संघर्ष करते हुए नजर आई हैं। आज ही की मैं बात करूं तो जब वो महिलाओं के साथ कुछ भी अपराध होता है, चाहे आप हाथरस की घटना देख लीजिए, प्रियंका गांधी जी, राहुल गांधी जी सबसे पहले पहुंचे थे। तो आप कभी भी अगर महिलाओं के खिलाफ अत्याचार देखेंगे, आप बात करें मणिपुर की, मणिपुर में किस तरह से औरत को नग्न करके पूरे मणिपुर में घुमाया गया, तब भी किसी भारतीय जनता पार्टी के नेता ने आवाज नहीं उठाई। सिर्फ और सिर्फ कांग्रेस के नेता ही सड़कों पर संघर्ष करते हुए दिखाई दे रहे थे। महिलाएं।
Okay, all right. Is that your response to the question I asked? Fair enough. If that's your response, that will be the stand that goes on record. Dr. Sudha Arhalkai, how would you like to respond to this? My question, the same question I'm repeating to you. When was the last time you heard and you saw of the women's wing of a political party go and speak to the men and women representatives, elected representatives of their political party and say, this cannot go on anymore? When was the last time you heard of this?
Sneha, I being a doctor myself, and I'm a spokesperson from BJP, I have been seeing since many years, at least from past 2-3 years, any injustice done to any woman in any way is we the women in the
मणिपुर की
BJP
महिला
raise
के
our
लिए
voice
कभी भी किसी
irrespective of
महिला
whosoever.
भाजपा नेता
I
को
didn't
किसी ने
interfere.
संघर्ष
I
करते
didn't
हुए
Roshni,
देखा है
allow her
interfere.
to
क्या?
I
speak.
didn't
Roshni,
interfere. I
Roshni,
didn't
allow her to
interfere.
speak.
I didn't interfere
Roshni,
when you
allow her
spoke.
to speak, Roshni.
I didn't
Roshni,
interfere when
please
you spoke.
allow
I
the
didn't
panelists to
interfere when
speak,
we spoke.
Roshni. You were allowed, Roshni. You were allowed, Roshni. You raised Manipur. No one interjected. Please allow her to speak, Roshni. Please go ahead, Dr. Siddha.
Sneha, I told you, I being a doctor myself, I have seen in past 2-3 years, there is every voice is raised by the BJP women whenever there is injustice done to women, take it character assassination or any platform where injustice is done to a woman, irrespective of whether the men are from BJP or from Congress or from any other platform. It is not the matter of from where the men are. It is the matter of the integrity of the woman. It is protecting the interest of the woman. And as one of our panelists told that the character assassination, I personally feel that the men use cheap tactics of character assassination to defame, to demoralize a woman who is coming up with her own potential in the men's world. And like other countries where character assassination is sued, in our country also, we should come up with a law where the people who are doing this character assassination will be put behind the bars. And our women have always stood for the women of our country, irrespective of any party of the men.
All right. Okay, that's your response. Gargi Nandi Roy. Again, I'm again repeating this question. When was the last time the women of a women wing of a party went and spoke to the political leadership, overarching political leadership, that this has to stop? Dragging women with no connection out of context for political rhetorics is unacceptable. Have you seen this? When was the last time you saw something like this happen?
Sneha, I think, since I'm not representing a political party in particular, so I won't be able to comment on whether women of a political party has ever said that. But yes, I don't think women have, I have not heard. And recently, say about Jaya Bachchan, who is so vocal, who is always shouting in the parliament, who has shouted at journalists. She is quiet. She is conspicuous by her silence. So her political interest is bigger than the dignity of her family, it seems. Have you heard anything from Jaya Bachchan? Otherwise, she is so vocal, which we have not heard. So that is because Congress and SP are talking about seat sharing, she's silent. And that is sad, because when your political interests come in the way of women's dignity, that is really sad. I personally have made videos on women in Bengal who had to flee her village because women were raped in their village at gunpoint. This happened in 2021. Now you are seeing Shandesh Kali. Okay. I have made a video. And I heard the Congress-leaning analyst talking about Hathras. But the 10 seconds, Sneha, 10 seconds, unfortunately, Congress is selective. When rapes were happening in Rajasthan, Congress ruled they will be silent. So don't be selective. When it is a crime against women,
but I can also see you are selective in your response as well right now. Okay, fair enough, but that's your position and you're stating that Saira Shah Alam?
Sarah Shah Halim, yeah. So I like to say one thing,
Sorry,
if you allow me to
Saira Shah
talk.
Halim, please.
The BJP government at the center, it applauds itself as being a champion of women's rights and working tirelessly to empower them and to give them equal space in society. However, we've seen the recent misogyny and absolute filth that was hurled at Mahua Moitra from the TMC, a very outspoken woman, And here they were trying to paint her as someone who's immoral. And when you were talking about which woman has addressed it, well, we saw her storming out of the Parliament's Ethics Committee meeting, which was to probe certain charges against her. And she has herself acknowledged that the way the Ethics Committee conducted itself was cheap. They asked her unethical questions. Again, I'm saying, when we're talking about recent happenings, this is one of the recent happenings. She might be from a different political ideology, but as a woman, you can question her about policy, you can question her about politics,
What?
or any other
I
charge.
think this
But here,
this analogy does not
No,
come. What
allow her,
Mahua
allow her,
Moitra did
Gargi,
was a
allow,
criminal offense.
Gargi, allow her. I'll come back to you.
Sorry, but
Gargi,
this
allow
is-
Saira to speak. Gargi, allow Saira to speak. Gargi, allow Saira to speak. I'll get back to you.
Charge that
Okay,
her
please.
questioning was akin to a Vastra Haran. You read her comments, you read her charge, because here why I'm addressing it, because the question asked is which female politician came up to address the issues of misogyny and sexism. So I said recently, not even a month ago, here she was asked some very unethical, apparently unethical questions by the ethical committee. So here, when we're talking about recent cases, she is a very prominent case. I said ideologically, I might not agree with a political party, but as a woman, I am completely against the sexism that was meted out to her. And I think that needs to be acknowledged.
All right.
And the BJP needs to acknowledge it was a completely sexist, misogynistic, and patriarchal comment. When you want to pull a woman down,
Gargi, you want to respond to this, Gargi?
Quieten her,
Gargi, you want to respond to
try
this?
and character assassinate her. You try and pry into her private life, which is so
No,
immoral.
again, unfortunately, I don't want this to become, a case on case. But Gargi, since you want to respond to this very quickly, please.
Yes, I think this analogy is very wrong because, Mahua Moitra, it was never a gender issue. It was because there were 47 logins from outside and it would have been a question to any politician. Because as a politician, as a member of the parliament, she was not supposed to give her login ID. It would have endangered the security of the country. And in the past,
No, but there were also very uncomfortable questions that were asked and that was concerns that were raised over that as well. But listen, that's not the point here. Again, I really want to draw course correction here because the discourse, and Gargi, you've made your point. I have agreed. No, that's your point. Saira made her point. Both of you have made your point. Let's just course correct. Get back to what you're really looking here.
What I said, even male politicians in the past.
Which one of you would want to take this question? I mean, in the next 3 months, as we go to elections, if all of you are going to go on like this, I just have to close this debate and just say goodbye because there is no discussion happening here. Women, there is no discussion happening here. I will just have to shut this debate down. Gargi, as well as Saira, and to the other panelists, if this continues like this, I'll have to say a goodbye. This cannot be the way we continue with our discourse at all, particularly on an issue where women are being objectified and subjected to some extreme obnoxious statements. My last comment, as women representatives, in the next 3 months, are you willing to call out any form of misogyny from your party or your ideological leaning, irrespective of when, where, and who does it? 30 seconds each, and that would be a wrap. 30 seconds each, irrespective of political leanings.
Yes.
And this is very important, because you all are women in privilege of positions. What you speak here is very reflective of the political spectrum that we are really dealing with. Roshni, you first.
I agree with you. And everyone should respect women, and no one has the right to speak anything wrong about women. Anything wrong. And every party should
Would you call
respect
out,
women.
if at all in months to come, Congress does something like this? Any leader, would you call it out?
Any leader from any political party is not allowed to speak anything wrong about the women. And if anyone is speaking wrong, they should be punished. And especially our Prime Minister
Dr.
Modi
Sudha?
ji has the respect to speak something good about women. I
I do
respect
have the
Okay,
highest,
our
Dr.
Prime
Sudha,
highest
Minister, but
regard
is
I
for
it
the
time?
women. I'll
request
be the
our
first
Prime
person
No,
Minister
to
no, no,
stand
Roshni.
against men.
No, fair enough. Roshni said what she said. Dr. Sudha, one question to you.
Yeah.
Do you think it's high time, and BJP is in power, do you really think it's high time that BJP can bring in a legislation, at least a party diktat? What's
Yes,
stopping BJP from doing that?
definitely. It needs to get a legislation, and I hope that it will get a legislation. And not only hope, I'm sure about it will get. And you had asked this question before that would I raise my voice? Definitely, Sneha. Yes, I would raise my voice against any person on
Even if a
earth
BJP
who
leader
has
in the
been
next 3 months
towards. Yes,
makes these
definitely. I
obnoxious
promise it.
remarks, you
Yeah,
will
yeah,
raise
yeah,
your
yeah.
voice.
Dr. Sudha Halkai, on this platform openly say that I'll be vocal against any person who is against any woman who speaks anything irrelevant about women and
Okay.
irrespective of my party itself. I make it a point today.
I think,
Gargi,
I think,
irrespective of
I
your
think
political
it's
leanings?
women, not women.
Yes.
It's not women.
Yes.
No, no,
I
it
didn't
is
hear you.
women. Of course it is
Come again.
women. It's
Okay.
fine. I
Yes,
mean, there could be
irrespective
linguist.
of my
No,
political
see,
leaning,
there could
yes.
be.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
Roshni.
take it to
Roshni, it
anybody,
is
women
women.
or men.
People have language
Please.
barriers.
Roshni, please.
People are
Roshni,
from
please.
different
Yeah.
regions in India. There are
Yes.
no. This is not fair, Roshni. Everybody has linguistic
No,
barriers,
actually,
and that
I
needs to
have
be
heard
respected. It
the
definitely is
word
women. This is not.
women
No.
politics.
This is not fair.
Yes,
This is not
Sneha.
fair, Roshni. I have to. No. This was not acceptable. Gargi, go ahead. Gargi, go ahead.
Yes, Sneha, in the past also I have even criticized BJP leaders. Irrespective of my leaning, I can say on your channel, a respected national channel, whoever, irrespective of any party line, if anybody makes a misogynistic and this kind of patriarchal statement, I will condemn it. I have condemned it in the past, and I will always raise my voice for women's rights. I'm always there. Yes.
Saira? All right, Saira. What's
talking about
really
the men.
stopping us? I mean, where is this mindset heading to?
I think we need to address the elephant in
Yeah,
the
go ahead,
room.
Saira. Go ahead.
Sometimes women perpetuate patriarchy much more than men. And I think we need to address it. I fought a very high pitch election 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago. It was a assembly election. I came second, but one of the contestants of a political party allegedly had planted a woman to write misogynist thing, modern, and wears the hijab and things like that. So they were using misogyny, to do this negative campaigning when they didn't find anything else, no corruption, no nothing. So I myself been a victim to. Victim of patriarchy and misogyny in politics. So I know very well,
Okay.
what
right.
I'm talking about. And yes, we need to ensure that there is a legislation which does away with irrelevant discussion on women, on their choices and dress and what they eat and things like that. And I think if you need to criticize a leader, it should be on matters of policy and governance, not on dress. Yeah.
All right. Okay, thank you very much, all four of you, for joining us. I really do hope that the political leaders, the ruling dispensation that is currently in ruling, the ruling dispensation that may come in the next elections, all of them are listening to this. I think India is ready for some very hard legislations. Politicians don't have impunity. No impunity of any form. This crassness cannot be accepted. Thank you very much for joining us.